Hello and welcome back to the Big O 2017. I am Ophelia Mellons.
And I am Star Spangled Hammer.
And we are about to begin Victorian Roller Derby versus the arch rival Roller Derby right here on track 1 at the Big O. I'm just going to run through the Victoria roster real quick here. Number 0, Ivy 90. Number 010, Giles. Number 10, Biceptual. Number 11, Power Pout, and you may see Chambers on her jersey, I believe. Number 130, Dire Skates. Number 14, Christy Demons. Number 192, Foxy LaRue. Number 20, Lorraine Evans. 2806, Danny Darko. Number 307, wearing the captain's C, Shayna Sarelson. Number 358, Yana Nuku. Number 38, Bone Shaker. Number 54, Lady Trample. Number 66, Screwberry Moore. And number 85, Bianca Scaretta. And they will be wearing blue jerseys today.
And for the arch rival roller derby, it's 00 Party Foul, 1057 Shira Powers, 121 Smarty McFly, 15 Bolt Action, 1900 Gloken Dragger, 24 Cupquake, 299 Shimmy Hoffa, 33 Jamheiser Bush, 48 Bricktator, 500 Grant, 6080 Salty, 68 Swanson, 75 Harmony Killabrews, and 810 Kayla Woodward. And we are underway with Bricktator on the line going up against, that is, Christy Demons for Victoria.
Great timing that you saw them there kind of back up at the last possible moment. And there we go, arch rival with the first lead jam of the game. And that's going to be number 48, Captain Bricktator. And finally breaking out of the pack here is Christy Demons. Victoria quickly resetting at the front of the pack right over the apex. 1, 2, 3, 4 points right there in the bag. Way to come out of the gates with some energy there.
Yeah, Arch Rifle looking to bounce back from a tough loss that they had yesterday against Angel City, lost by right about 100 points. So they're looking to bounce back with a good showing here against Victoria today.
Yeah, and that was actually slightly above expectation on Arch Rival's behalf. Pretty strong showing, and of course Victoria took down world champion Rose City Rollers yesterday by 64 points.
So now on the line, it's Annie Swanson for Arch Rival, and that is 54 Lady Trample out there for Victoria.
And Swanson gets pushed to the inside line and recycled back to that jammer start line. Trample still working through her back, starting to break up that arch rival wall, finds a lane outside and shakes it off. Lead jammer back to Victoria, but Swanson trailing behind. Mixed up walls here. Shayna Sarelson playing offense to get it started as her jammers entering first, and arch rival was sitting in the back of the pack. A solo point on that pass for Victorian Roller Derby.
Arch Rival doing a really nice job transitioning from defense to offense there to get Swanson out quickly after Victoria's jammer.
Hammer, do you remember the outcome of the last time these two teams matched up?
I'm not sure they have met.
That's right. They have never played each other. Gotcha. Who do we got on the line here?
That is going to be Harmony Killabrews out there for Arch Rival, and for Victoria, that is Giles.
All right, as they line up there, you can see Bianca holding down, bracing that wall. Big takeout there. That's Woodward with the takeout on, is that Lady Trample? Excuse me. Giles would be the jammer. Giles working here through that pack, starts to hit that brace. The brace gets braced. Turn 1 right on top of the apex here. Offense coming in from, superstar this weekend, Danny Darko. In the mix there. In play, you see the Victoria skaters getting back into play. The little force out there. Army Killer Brews still on an initial. Force to the inside. Giles to the outside, but gets to step over the blocker that hit her out. And gets recycled here. Very exciting.
Arch Rival doing a really nice job here of shedding off the offense and able to collapse back again on the opposing jammer.
We've now exceeded 1 minute of this jam with no lead jammer being assessed. Giles again on the outside, tiptoeing inside, very close on that cut. In this announcer's opinion, that may have been a reviewable call, but lead jammer nonetheless going to Giles. That pack is slowed down. We are down to 40 seconds in this second jam of the game.
Star pass to Kayla Woodward.
Woodward very composed here. Biceptional headed to the penalty box, maybe the first of the game. And whistle at the right time. It's going to be a few more points there for Victoria. We have a game of 5-4. Arch rival leading. 26 minutes going into this first half.
Arch rival really fired up at the beginning of this game as soon as that jam ended, their next pack shot out onto the track and took their positions. It's going to be bolt action now on the line for Arch rival up against Ivy Conivy for Victoria.
One down in the penalty box for Victoria. They are having a tripod at the front of the pack. You see number 500, Grant, taking out that tripod. Shayna Sarelson hanging out at the front of the pack. Surprise, surprise, around the outside. Lead jammer. That's going to bolt action. Set up for that incoming jammer. She's now lapped Ivy Conivy, and that's going to be a full 5-point grand slam, natural grand slam for her. Ivy Conivy tiptoeing around the outside, somehow stays clear and in bounds. She's completed her initial pass as we have bolt action, getting forced to the outside, peeking over that pack, deciding to call it as Biceptional is still sitting in that penalty box.
She actually came out of the box and then went right back for a back block.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
No doubt Victoria is heavily favored in this game. Keys to Arch rival's success are, staying tight and unleashing like super secret ninja offense, because otherwise Danny Darko and Shayna Saracen are literally going to eat Arch rival's jammers alive.
Well, really, what it boils down to is Arch rival has to play a practically perfect game, because any mistake, Victoria is just going to eat you alive.
Absolutely. It's Christy Demons wearing the star now for Victoria, and Brick Tater for Arch, again wearing white with pink helmet covers. Both jammers getting swept to the inside of the track. It's Brick Tater pushing out the front and picks up lead jammer. Quickly transitioning to offense is the Victorian roller derby. Demons around the outside, hits that pack and clears the way. Some sort of a jumpy, skippy, slidey across the track he happened. But you know what, Hammer? She got them all. That's 5 points for Arch rival.
You just have to land skate first to get that apex jump, and that's all she had to do.
It's a confidence booster. The score is now 4-17. Arch rival leads with 23 and a half minutes in this first period.
So next up on the jammer line for Arch rival, it is Swanson. And for Victoria, that is Lady Trample.
Going to be interviewing Lady Trample later today with the Big O Afterglow following their next game. Oh, great matchup here against Salty of the Arch rival Roller Girls, going chest to chest, side to side, but finally Lady Trample able to maintain her balance and complete her first pass. Now she's on her scoring pass. Another matchup here with Salty, but Lady Trample finds more success on that outside line right here at turn one.
Yeah, Lady Trample, I expect Arch to have a real big problem with her because she's a big, strong jammer. Arch rival generally does not fare well against large jammers.
Swanson with a beautiful backwards leap over the apex. 4 points there now for Victoria. 4-point game here, 13-17.
So next up on the jammer line for Victoria, it's going to be Power Pout. And out there for Arch rival, it's Harmony Killer Brews.
Clear penalty box here. You see Victoria with their tripod and one offensive skater trying to aggravate the wall of Arch rival. Big hit around the outside, making it look easy. Power Pout. Her jersey, number 11, says Sarah Chambers, and that's okay by me. Now you know.
Arch rival doing a much better job this game so far of transitioning from defense to offense than they did against Angel City. That really hurt them in that game.
Power Pout pushing to the best of her ability on a 4-wall. Just hitting those seams, picking a new seam, and moving. You see Harmony Killer Brews removes the hat, Star Stash, but the pivot is all the way up at the front of the pack, about 30 feet ahead of her. That pivot is Woodward, and an out-of-play penalty being assessed here.
That'll be Jamheiser-Busch taking a seat.
Power Pout points up on the board, 5 so far. And Woodward, with successfully receiving the star pass, completes the initial pass for Arch Rival.
So big jam there for Victoria.
Our first lead change of the game.
Looking like 8 points there for Victoria on that jam. And next up on the jammer line, that's going to be bolt action for Arch Rival. And I believe is that Giles? Yes, it is.
Getting back to business here, right up on the pivot line. Number 6080, Salty, holding down, bracing that Arch Rival wall, and now Victorian Roller Derby drops back to the jammer line. They don't want to give bolt action any room. Big hit on Giles. Giles re-enters. It's a big old mess. Everybody's like a washing machine right there.
It's a scrum, yeah.
And Giles around the outside. One more matches up here with Jamheiser-Busch and makes her way through for lead jammer status. Successful star pass over to Salty. Bolt action handing that star to Salty.
Yeah, you can expect Arch to do that most of the game to try to limit the scoring passes for Victoria.
And successfully around the outside on that scoring pass, and Arch Rival's going to have to shut that down. But they were even Victoria was even able to pull that off against Rose City yesterday. There was like an open door.
So Bricktator now on the jammer line for Arch Rival. That's Ivy Knive for Victoria.
Once again, Victoria dropping back, trying to not give Bricktator an inch to move. Penalty. Did you catch that penalty, Hammer?
It looked like a direction of gameplay call.
Okay, and that's on Darko. Ivy Knive pushes outside to in. Her shorts are velvety.
Yes, they are.
And jockeys for position right on around Woodward, finally making her way through. Lead jammer here for Victoria, but Bricktator breaks through.
Direction of gameplay there on Smarty McFly will send her to the penalty box, so a 3-on-3 pack right now.
I was really loving the offense that was being played on Cloak and Dragger right there, isolating Arch Rival in the back of the pack, just trying to deliver those points. 4 of them, there they go. A noticeable difference, at least in this guy's opinion, is that from last year to this year, Victorian Roller Derby just looks like a little more easy and comfortable and smiley. Real positive energy on the bench. And I was talking to Sarelson earlier, and she literally said, like, we are focused on having fun this year. Maybe that was missing previously, but right now they're just playing textbook roller derby.
So it's Lady Trample out there for Victoria against Ida Swanson for Arch Rival.
Got Lady Trample breaking through the front, making it look easy. Lead jammer here. Arch Rival clamping down, trying to give a little offensive help here. The star has been removed. Big force back there by Salty. Trample makes contact on the inside, moves to the out again. Mohawks around one blocker and moves to the inside on turn 2 apex. Smushed in between Shimmy Hoffa and Salty. She will break through and call off those points. Call off that jam for 5 big ones. It's been a few scoreless jams here for Arch Rival as Victoria gets comfortable, settles into the game. Now everyone racing back to that pivot line.
So Power Pout out there now for Victoria against Harmony Killabrews for Arch Rival.
See Bianca there bracing that Victoria wall right on top of Arch Rival. Coming around the inside is Woodward to open up the offense, but unfortunately that opens the door for number 11, Power Pout.
Yeah, Victoria, as you said, is starting to settle in, starting to build those walls properly and getting their guys out.
Right now, they have 2 on offense, 2 on defense. And that is extremely effective. Natural Grand Slam here for Power Pouch. Slow moving pack here as they return to turn 1. Little tap out there, Bonnie Bone Shaker. Recycling back with Biceptual. Wow, everybody's got to recycle back there. This is a certified green roller derby event.
Yes, recycling everything.
Perfect tripod, Biceptual, bringing them back and quickly rejoins her teammates. Again, we see Victoria just shutting down that outside opportunity.
Yeah, and that's going to work big against Harmony. She loves that outside line.
Power Pout breaks through. Another 5 points. 10 so far. Puts them up to 44 at this point. Right through the middle, able to just blow through the screws there. One more to be out of play, trying to get out of there. Great effort there by number 24, Cupquake. At the end of that, 5 more, 15 points for Victoria.
Interesting call off there as Harmony still had not completed the initial pass.
We have completed the first quarter of this game, and just looking at our stats here, there's only 3 penalties on the Victoria side, 3 on the Arch side. I have a feeling that will change.
Also really low scoring here.
If they can hold Victoria to 50 points per quarter, they'd be in good shape. It's Christy Demons now jamming number 14 for Victoria in bolt action, wearing white for Arch Rival. Slice is back in, right behind Sarelson there. And she's joined by Yana Nuku. Braces herself for that hit, just gets low, absorbs that energy. Nothing fancy there, just great stable skating.
Just really strong.
Star pass successful to Salty again. Wisely calling that off. She got what she wanted, 3 points out of that. Want to give a big shout out to Rydell Skates. They are a proud sponsor of the Big O, and we are so happy and lucky to have them here.
So next up on the jammer line, that's going to be Brick Tater for Arch Rival, Ivy Canivy for Victoria.
Big offense comes in there from Danny Darko, trying to open up that hole. Oh my goodness, no, girl, you were good. Yeah, girl, get it. That was a one-footed toe stop hop around the outside apex, and I could watch that all day.
Yeah, at first she was like, oh, I didn't have it. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I did.
Well, Victoria didn't become number 1 by not being careful with their jammers.
No. And I'll tell you what, Brick Tater is a large reason why you've seen Arch Rival steadily climb up the ranks. Ever since she transferred from Bay Area,
That's right.
She was a huge leadership presence and brought a lot of discipline to this league.
She just willed herself through this pack. She found the light of day, swam through that pack. She's completed her initial pass, and Ivy calls that one off because she got all 5.
Yeah, the Arch Rival Roller Derby girls lovingly refer to her as Mom.
That's adorable. Team timeout being called here. And that's going to be an Arch Rival timeout. Big thank you to Ninkazi Brewing. Ninkazi Brewing Company is a proud sponsor of Emerald City Roller Derby and the Big O Tournament. Also very much like to thank Laughing Planet Cafe, Laughing Planet Rolling Burritos in the Eugene Galaxy for over 10 years, just 6 blocks away from where we are at the Lane Event Center.
So actually this is an official review for Arch Rival.
Ooh.
I have a feeling they're probably looking at that the toe stop action here on turn 1 on the Victoria Jammer.
Mm-hmm. Track 1 is just jam-packed with amazing action today. If you caught the last game, that was the Dos por Cuatro from Buenos Aires, Argentina, playing Windy City. And that was a heck of a game with Dos por Cuatro leading most of the way. And it came down to the last jam, and Windy City pulled it out. I had goosebumps. What a game. Coming up following Victoria versus arch rival is going to be Texas versus Minnesota. Both coming off of solid wins yesterday. Texas taking down Denver, I believe, and Minnesota taking down my alum, Rat City. And we're going to get an update here. Hammer, you are on the money with your guess of that official review. We just got word from Mike Hammer, your Hammer brother, that, in fact, Arch did call a review on that amazing toe-stop pop on right here in front of us on turn 1. But that no call will stand, and they will not retain their review for this period.
Official reviews are hard to win.
But they can be won.
Oh, yeah.
If you're right.
So now on the jammer line for Victoria, it's going to be Lady Trample. And for arch rival, that's Swanson.
Swanson.
Give me all your bacon and eggs.
Lady Trample swings to the inside and gets pushed back by Salty of arch rival. That pack is held down by Shira Powers, number 1057 of arch rival. And just skipping through the outside, there goes Lady Trample. Last line of defense, and Lori Evans, and Swanson breaks through.
Yeah, not a whole lot Arch could do against that. That was just pure determination by Lady Trample.
Yeah, Trample sneaks in there, tries to wrap her hips around everyone she can get, and wisely calls it off at the appropriate time. She knows what she's doing. Shayna Sarelson speaking with head ref Danger Muffin. I just noticed her armbands are still the Wheels of Justice armbands. That's very sweet.
So next up on the jammer line for Victoria, that's Giles, and for arch rival, Bolt Action.
Again, clear penalty box, very low penalized game. Bolt Action up against that front pack of Victoria. Offense comes in. Offense drops back. That was brought to you by Woodward. Definitely a standout here for arch rival.
Yeah, both teams just so good right now and defensively.
Another offensive sweep comes in. Is that Smarty McFly? Smarty McFly comes in, tries to clear a lane. Bianca dropping back to bridge this pack. Bolt Action so close, spins off to the inside, spins to the out, but there goes Giles around the outside, picking up lead jammer.
Darko sent off for a forearm call there.
She's removed her helmet cover, Bolt Action, but her pivot's in the box. Woodward is watching her. I can't help you. Still man-to-man action at the top of the turn 3 there. Has to let her go. Completes the initial pass. Bolt Action ready to score. But Giles wisely calls that off as they're able to ice a blocker in the penalty box. Both pivots for the teams standing now.
Have a pivot dance party.
My favorite kind. Thanks very much to sponsor Hot Mama's Wings. Suffering from rink rash or bleacher burn? Hot Mama's Wings is a proud annual sponsor of the Big O tournament. You see, serve wings, burgers, sandwiches, salads, in a full bar, and they're just located 4 blocks away on 13th and Lawrence. Get the Hot Mama burger.
I will do that. Now it's Harmony Killabrews out there jamming for arch rival, and as Power Pout out there for Victoria.
And now our pivots have rejoined the action. Harmony Killabrews around the outside. Around the outside again. She's caught up front. Gets a sheer hit there from Yana Nuku, but shakes it off. Lead jammer now for arch rival. We're at about 9 minutes remaining in this first period. Victoria on a roll here. Power pout going right through the seams of Woodward. And I believe Shira Powers. That's a 5-point pass here. Puts him up to 22. Takes that outside and gets shut down there by number 358. That's Yana Nuka yet again.
Yeah, arch rival has to feel really good about the way they're playing right now, even though the score, they're behind, but they're doing a really nice job of, even when Victoria does get their jammer out first, they're able to quickly get their jammer out behind and really limit those scoring passes by Victoria.
Well said. It is a 40-point game, but very low scoring, as you mentioned before, with just 8 minutes and 11 seconds remaining on that first period clock. This can be considered a success, in my opinion, for arch rival.
So next up, Ivy Canivy out there for Victoria, Brick Tater for arch rival.
Really impressive offense being played here by none other than Shayna Sarelson. Peeled two blockers off of her jammer, Ivy Canivy. Brick Tater finds the inside, one more. She's up against Biceptual. Biceptual takes her from the out to the in, but she makes her way through lead jammer. We got a wrist guard on the track. Lead jammer going to Brick Tater.
Oh, that's not a wrist guard. That's not a wrist guard. That's the jammer panty for Victoria.
Uh-oh.
So this is actually a power jam. That is the Victoria jammer sitting in the penalty box.
That's right, Ivy Canivy in the penalty box. Wow, great control there. Brick Tater power slides to the outside line. A turn 2 goes inside. She's got points in the hole.
Brick Tater, a former figure skater.
And here we go. Ivy Canivy back on the track, picks up that star cover, trying to get it on because that's how you score points.
Yeah.
What a jam there.
Yeah, very good jam there for arch rival.
10-0 jam, shutting out Victoria. That's a successful power jam, which you usually don't hear in favor of offense. Usually talk about power jam kills.
Yeah, next up out there for Victoria, that's going to be Lady Trample and Swanson for arch rival.
Still only counting 4 and 5 penalties assessed to each of these teams, respectively. Arch with 4, Victoria with 5. Easy peasy around the outside. Lady Trample, lead jammer. Swanson moving that pack pretty quickly. They finally managed to slow her down at turn 2. Starting to slowly get out of play. They need a bridge. Yana bridges that gap perfectly, and cut track. That was a great call by the ref. Swanson's back foot did land over that line. So power jam now in favor of a Lady Trample. Famous last words for any team. Lady Trample just felt up her teammate, Yana Nuku, and said, "Excuse me, I'm going to go over here and score points now. Thanks." 5 in the hole so far. Big lateral hit from Lady Trample right on Shimmy Hoffa.
So Victoria going to call that jam off while Swanson stands in the penalty box, icing the opposing jammer, so to speak. So they will start this jam unopposed. It'll be Ivy Canivy, on the sole jammer out there to start this jam. Both teams at full strength in the pack. As we mentioned, it's been a very cleanly played game, and it's hard to tell right now if the two teams are just playing that clean or if the refs are just letting them play and not necessarily calling so much. It's really hard to tell.
Still a 40-point differential here. Ivy Canivy jamming now again for Victoria, and Swanson wearing the star, number 68, for arch rival wearing white.
The power jam has come to an end.
Swanson trying to find the outside, carries her momentum to the in, and that's because Danny Darko picks up a high block.
That is the third for Danny Darko, so we might want to start thinking about keeping an eye on her.
Danny Darko, huge contributor to Victoria's victory over Rose City last night. Swanson still pushing through, 360 pushing. Beautiful blocking here. I believe that's Biceptual at the top of the pack. Yep, and takes her out. But a forearm out of play.
Yeah.
Everyone's cheering, though. They love that.
Yeah, that was a
clinic.
That was a real heads-up play by Swanson, realizing as soon as that whistle was blown that it was a penalty on the blocker and took off.
Great momentum here by Swanson.
And now a power jam. Ivy Knive being sent to the penalty box for a track cut. So an opportunity again here for arch rival.
It's a big opportunity, like you said, to close that gap with under 4 minutes remaining in this first period. Wise, she just got put through the ringer. Mm-hmm. She's toast, and fresh legs coming out on the track now. Yep. They're going to send out bolt action, I bet.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Bolt action, a new addition to the arch rival charter. Transferred from Fargo last year.
Fargo, eh? So bolt action, the lone jammer on the line, and a blocker in the box by Sepschel, standing in the penalty box here for Victoria. Goes to the outside. Yana Nuku contains her, and here comes the offensive sweep in to out. Oh, and that hip check. That was like a Coke bottle hip-to-hip action there. Great hit there. Is that Screw Barrymore?
Once again, Victoria doing a nice job taking bolt action all the way back to the apex of turns 1 and 2.
Oh, Shayna.
And the power jam comes to an end. Arch rival unable to capitalize.
Still no lead jammer assessed, meaning Ivy Knive is eligible, and she has earned lead jammer status. Is lead jammer a status? I guess it is.
Sure, why not? It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I guess. They gave me the microphone. Bolt action still having a hard time. Does get lap 5 points here for Ivy Knive.
Trying to pass the star, but falls out of bounds is bolt action, so she'll have to set back up, coming in again.
And that's bolt action wedged in between a wall of Yana Nuku and Shayna Sarelson with bisexual bracing. Great movement, being very sure to keep those feet moving, but it is impressive that bolt action always picking up those feet, always moving them even just a little bit forward, trying to get her traction, get some purchase on the track, and escape. Party foul. Great defense here on Ivy Knive.
Yeah, actually a rare slip up there by Victorians. They totally lost bolt action in the shuffle and let her get free.
That was a 10-point jam there. And we're still, again, we find ourselves at a 40-point differential.
Shayna Sarelson definitely seeing something she doesn't like out there from arch rival. She's continuously in the face of the umpires and the refs looking for something.
Oh, that's just kind of her thing.
So Kayla Woodward there now for arch rival, her first jam here today with the star on her head, and power pout out there for Victorian.
Oh, that was sneaky. Sarelson knew what she was doing, came to that inside line last minute trying to open that up. But power pout did get notched to the inside. Still pushing forward. Shayna's still playing offense as arch rival gets pushed out. One more to beat. That's Cupquake, number 24. They bridge out. Comes around the outside. Lead jammer there for power pout. Is now Woodward is the jammer. Pushing forward. Still up in Shayna Sarelson's face.
Direction of gameplay, the call there on Smarty McFly, so she'll sit in the penalty box for arch rival.
Woodward trying to take that outside line, does remove the star. Plays some jammer defense here, wisely covering that outside lane. She gets forced out herself by bisexual. 3 backwards, forwards facing skaters in her face. It's a little terrifying even for a second. Calls that one off. Already got all 5 points there. Another 10-point jam is going to bring us into intermission. Score will stand at 93-43. Arch rival hanging in there.
Yeah, arch rival's got to feel really good about their play in that first half. We'll see what adjustments they make and come out in the second half strong.
Absolutely. All right, we won't bore you with details. I'm with Star Spangled Hammer. I'm Ophelia Mellons, and we'll be back shortly for the exciting ending of Victorian Roller Derby and arch rival. Hello, people of the internet, and welcome back to the second half of Victorian Roller Derby versus Arch Rival. Again, I'm Ophelia Mellons, joined by Star Spangled Hammer. The score currently 43 for Arch, 93 for Victoria. We have 30 minutes left to play. What's your take on the first half, Hammer?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a very clean game as we sit here and we look at the penalty sheet. Only, 6, 7, 8 penalties for Victorian?
8 penalties for Victorian and only 3 skaters with penalties.
Yeah, and then, 6 for Arch Rival? Which
and
is great.
4 skaters with penalties.
4 players. It's really impressive how clean these teams are playing right now. It's such high-level derby. A lot of physicality considering how clean a game we're seeing here. Arch Rival has to be really pleased with the score right now, the way things look. They've really done a fine job of holding Victoria to single pass jams. Only a few times have we seen multiple pass jams, multiple scoring pass jams for Victoria. So Arch Rival has to feel really good about how that's gone for them.
Yeah, certainly. And they are exceeding expectation at this point. Second half, we'll see what's going to happen here. We do have 1 skater down in the penalty box for Arch Rival. As usual, you can find Shayna Sarelson hanging out on the back line with that Arch Rival wall.
So Bricktator going to start things off for Arch Rival here in the second half. That was Power Pout out there for Victoria.
Power Pout gets taken out to the outside by Salty. Offense comes in from Shayna, moves to the outside to play defense. And it is actually Bricktator that has acquired a lead jammer, and Power Pout and her doing a little swing dance as they enter the pack. Again, Bricktator is lead. She hits the Arch Rival wall in the back and kind of gets hit out, lands on a knee. No points there. Luckily, no points for Victoria as well. In the first half, high-scoring jammer is Power Pout with 33 points, followed closely by Lady Trample with 28. And Lady Trample also has 100%, she has a differential of plus 28. So the other jammers aren't scoring points when she's on the track.
So Annie Swanson now out there for Arch Rival. And that is Lady Trample out there for Victoria.
Swanson on the inside again. Arch Rival wearing white jerseys with pink trim. Swanson not able to find any room there in that tripod. Shayna dropping back to play O, opens up that lane. Just comes in from the outside with her chest, and Lady Trample picks up lead jammer. Trample hitting that pack as Swanson still struggles, gets hit to the inside. That's Screw Barrymore just all over Swanson this jam.
So there's that first scoring pass completed by Lady Trample. 5 points, grand slam. Swanson just about free.
Meeting up with Screw Barrymore up there at the top of the pack. Got to let her go.
So Arch is only going to allow 2 scoring passes there. So 9 points on that jam.
And once again, Lady Trample doesn't get scored on when she's on the track. 37 points in her pocket, 37-point positive differential. The only jammer on Arch Rival with a positive differential at this point in time is Bricktator, who's got 20 points on the board, a differential of 11.
There's bolt to action out there now for Arch Rival. That is Giles for Victoria.
Bianca recycling to the front of the pack, trying to regain the wall together. Also covers the inside. She's everywhere. They're embraced by Bone Shaker. And a penalty now being assessed on Giles. That is a high block.
Yeah.
Power jam for bolt action. 35 seconds into this jam. Sees the light of day, but gets tapped out by Shayna Sarelson. She's up against Bone Shaker and Sarelson at the front of the pack. Sarelson lets her go. Lead jammer status awarded 55 seconds into that jam. All right, like 53 seconds.
Who's nitpicking?
Everyone on the internet.
Good point. So Bolt Action looks to put points on the board for Arch Rival here. Power Jam coming to an end as Giles skates around to the back of the pack.
Out of play penalty looks like it was assessed on Salty, the pivot for Arch Rival. Star stash by Giles, buys her time. She's cleared the pack. So only one scoring pass will be allowed here by Victoria. Bolt Action putting up 5 points. .25 minutes remaining in this game.
Next up, that's Power Pout out there for Victoria. And for Arch Rival, I believe that's Harmony Killabrews.
Is this the third or fourth jam of the second half? Arch Rival has not scored yet in the second period. Power Pout on the inside. There is Harmony Killabrews right behind her. Finds some room on the outside. Gets forced out. Swings to the inside. Giles is still there playing a little defense for a moment. And a penalty now being assessed on Evans. Harmony hits the deck on the outside. I saw an elbow penalty being assessed on someone. And a directional being now called on number 121, Smarty McFly.
Yeah, the elbow was on Screw Barrymore. So no points there. So it's going to be Bricktator on the jam line next for Arch Rival. And that is Christy Demons, I believe.
Starting us off in this next jam, we have a diet pack, 2 blockers down a piece, 2 and 2 to get us started. As you said, Bricktator on the line. She's the only one with a positive differential here for Arch Rival. And she breaks through.
Track cut the call. So power jam here for Christy Demons and Victoria.
So lead jammer now finally assessed here for Christy Demons. First jam of the second half. Just skates on through that pack light. Grant was not able to catch her on the outside. He can only be so many places at once. Gets held up on the inside momentarily, and Christy Demons up with 5 more points.
Yeah, Victoria has caught Arch Rival on their heels here on this jam. Able to put up some good scoring passes during the power jam. Bricktator re-enters play.
Victorian skaters, Biceptual, Bianca. Wow. Bricktator able to escape through the pack, completes her initial pass. Demons flaps her arms nice and big. So the jam ref calls that off. Shayna Sarelson talking to Mike Hammer out there.
Yeah. That jam right there really showed just what high-level derby, how important penalties are to high-level derby. As soon as Arch Rival lost a couple skaters, it was absolute bedlam. Victorian was able to just absolutely have their way. But when these two teams have stayed out of the box, defensively it's been very even.
Yeah, and these first few minutes of the second half, 7.5 minutes so far, low scoring, low penalties, score of 48. So Arch not yet able to put any points up on the board in 7.5 minutes of play in the second period. Another huge thank you to Rydell Skates. Powerdyne has changed the game again. Be sure to check out the newly redesigned Arius Platinum plate. Arius Platinum, performance redefined. Thank you so much, Rydell.
If you want, you can check us out on social media all weekend. If you're on Twitter, use the hashtag Big O 2017 all together. That's Big O, not a zero, 2017.
Shout out to dear friend Gia, who's created hashtag Talk2Melons to get very serious opinions on things such as refs having tucked in jerseys or not, what my wristband represents. Very exciting times.
I've actually seen a ref, an NSO, wearing Jinkos this weekend.
Why? Oh, because we're in Eugene. Never mind.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. What do we got here in this next jam? Lady Trample back on the line against Swanson, number 68 for arch rival. Lady Trample skips up the inside line and gets tapped out there. Shayna opens the door to her, and Trample takes care of the rest by spinning out of it 2 more times. Lead jammer Trample. Trample's only not been lead 1 time. Forearm now called. So this is the first time that points may be potentially scored while Lady Trample is the jammer of record. That's Swanson, the jammer for arch rival, looking for offensive help. Victoria, broken up momentarily, regains their wall. Evans now floats to the front. Bridged out, Yananuku. Every skater now bridging out. Beautiful bridge. Yananuku now taking care of it. Out of play penalty there. So initial pass completed.
Well, Lady Trample did have lead jammer, so this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
So great thing for Arch. And, very wide sidestep there by Swanson, putting up 5 points. So 5 points against Lady Trample here. Wow. I'm just going to skate backwards and run backwards on my toe stops up the straightaway and pick up 4 points. NBD. But you know what? Swanson just did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level. That's the expectation. It's crazy.
Lady Trample just did a pirouette on the outside that was just beautiful.
Another 4 there. Same thing. Swanson matching her.
And now arch rival running to the front of the pack, trying to speed things up.
Smart. That clock ticks down less than 8 seconds in this jam. Lady Trample moves from the out to the in. Forward, backward, sideways, wants her hips around every blocker. At the end of that, 3 more for Victoria. And a solo point there for Arch at the end of that. 13 points, 14 points for Arch. 11 there for Victoria. Score now stands 62-127. 20 minutes remain in this game.
So next up on the line for arch rival, that's Bolt Action. And for Victoria, that's Giles.
Victoria on their tripod at the front of the pack. Now Giles almost broke through and gets some help from Danny Darko. Again, my favorite blocker this whole weekend so far. It's only Saturday early, but Giles through on a scoring pass. Goes head-to-head there. Number 1057, Shira Powers. Breaks through. 5 points there for Giles. But it's Bolt Action that finally picks up lead?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, Giles got through first. However, she did not get through cleanly. So she was not awarded lead jammer. And after all that, finally Bolt Action picks up lead jammer and quickly calls that jam off to avoid a second scoring pass by Victoria.
That's right. 5-0 jam on that last one. 62-132 as Victoria begins to pull away.
Harmony Killer Brews now on the jammer line for arch rival. Power Pout out there for Victoria.
It was a 40-point differential in the entire first half. Now we're at about a 70-point differential. Math is hard, though. Harmony Killebrew swings to the inside. She's on the back of Sarelson. Big offensive sweep comes in there from Jamheiser-Busch. Shakes off Sarelson for a moment, but Victoria regains their tripod at the front of the pack. Something I know Harmony Killebrews likes to do is lean on the back of a blocker and just patiently wait for them to get a clockwise block. But they're wise to her tricks.
You're going to have a hard time getting Victoria to fall for that.
Power Pout picks up lead jammer, stays in bounds on the track, gets herself up, wipes herself off, and ready to score some points here. Harmony Killerbrews having a hard time. The hat is off. She is on the outside holding that hat in her hand, but her pivot is occupado. Breaks through the inside line. Harmony Killerbrews completes her initial pass, but very quickly Power Pout through for 5, calls that one off. But again, not unsuccessful for Arch to just hold them to the 5-point pass.
So Brick Tater now out there on the jam line for Arch Rival. That is Christy Demons, I believe. Yes, it is. Christy Demons out there jamming for Victoria.
Brick Tater pushing right down the middle of the seam, right next to the pivot. Christy Demons moves from the out to the in. She's head-to-head with Salty and Shimmy Hoffa. Christy Demons still held up as Brick Tater picks up lead jammer. Demons through.
Yep.
Bone Shaker doing a great job of regaining that composure at the front of the pack for Victoria, protecting those points. Wow, okay. Good on him. Jam Ref was holding up too. The Victoria coach came in, probably complimented the way he's dressed and got an extra point. He goes, I'll buy you a beer later. That's not how roller derby works at all. You got the ghost point.
Yeah, exactly. That third point was for the ghost point.
Is that still called ghost point? I don't know. I was calling it ghost point like 8 years ago for like bank track. But
I don't think anybody's come up with a better term for it.
So here's Lady Trample stepping over everyone with her long legs, picks up lead jammer. Swanson's jamming now for Arch Rival. Oh, almost hangs onto that line. Shayna Sarelson's booty takes her over that line. They draw back. Ray Evans bracing that pack. Screw Barrymore bridging. Drops back to join the defense because Lady Trample just pushes through and puts up 5 points on that board.
Victoria just seems to actually be getting stronger as this game goes on.
Swanson pushes through. Evans was blocking in the forwards derby direction while skating backwards with her hips and back on Swanson. That was pretty interesting. Oh, we're going to get a low block call here.
That's unfortunate for Swanson.
That was Screw Barrymore, like slow motion falling over her to not hurt her.
So it'll be Giles, the lone jammer on the power line, on the jammer line, taking the power start for Victoria.
This is about the last fourth quarter of this game, with 65 to 150 being the score. Still only 14 penalties for Victoria and 13 for Arch Rival. We're used to seeing games with 30 plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For Victoria. Remember. Swanson still chilling out in that penalty box. It's Giles wearing the star for Victoria. Shira holding on for her dear life with Grant. Strong hold there. Party foul. Regaining that front wall, but the pack is split. And there we go. Lead jammer finally assessed for Giles. But that did buy time. Swanson's back on the track.
Yeah, real patience there shown by Giles.
That's pretty much their key at this point. Less than 14 minutes remaining. They're up by about 85 points. Although it certainly would help them retain their number 1 WFTDA ranking by shutting the door on Arch Rival. But Arch just staying strong, playing a solid game. 2 points now on the board for Arch. One last point there for Giles.
It really almost seems like Victoria kind of has an unfair advantage being from a country where everything's trying to kill you. It seems like you almost get to train 24/7.
I totally see that point. Yeah. Just another observational difference here. Victoria likes to, on the bench, their next lineup, they sit and face each other. They don't bother themselves with watching what's going on to the track. Arch rival, a little more old school, sitting very composed and positive on the bench, but traditional style there.
Yep, bolt action out there jamming for Arch rival, power pout for Victoria.
I could see Power Pout looking down that line, and she goes right down the middle to pick up lead jammer here. Star stash, star pass. Bolt action hands that run right off.
Yeah, real heads-up play there by bolt action.
And that's Cupquake now holding the star. Calls that one off before... womp womp. You see her cute face. Oh, darn. Gee whiz.
Golly gee. And all that.
But only 3 points. Putting the pressure on. Great play there by Arch Rival, holding it down. Score now 67-155 for Victoria. And we have about 12 minutes remaining in this game.
So it is now going to be Brick Tater out there for Arch rival, Christy Demons for Victoria.
Clear penalty box. Brick Tater with the one hand on the outside for a little extra balance, but it's Christy Demons, lead jammer here. Brick Tater would speed up the inside line, goes right over that apex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Salty almost came in to save the day, but very athletic maneuver there by Demons, of course. Picks all 4 points up, calls that one off as she drifts out of bounds.
Yep, and it'll now be Harmony Killabrews out there for our travel against Giles for Victoria.
For as a low penalty type game as this is, Danny Darko, number 2806 on the Victorian roller derby side, already has 4 penalties, but that's because she does so much stuff. That's Giles jamming, moves from the out to the middle on the inside, clears number 33, Jamizer Bush, to become lead. Harmony removes her hat, clears the pack, wants to score some points, but Giles calls that one off. Couple points there. Is that all of them?
4, yeah. Lady Trample out there now for Victoria.
Lady Trample with 58 points so far this game. Power Pout with 41. Both with beautiful differentials, positive differentials on that track.
That is Swanson out there for Arch Rival, and she finds an inside line and quickly grabs lead jammer for Arch Rival.
Swanson is the high-scoring jammer for Arch Rival by a few points. Swanson around the outside, twists her body around like a Barbie doll. One half was looking forward, one was looking back. Again, she does it around the outside, but gets tapped out there by Bianca and Biceptual. Lady Trample up the inside. Swanson is lead jammer. And that one's going to get called off. All 4 points there for Arch Rival. And the
good
fans
jam.
are digging it.
Yeah, good jam there for Arch. Bolt action on the line again. And
Bolt action, they're really containing her today. Only 12 points in the pocket. Only lead 33% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Power Pout out there for Victoria.
As we begin this jam, less than 9 minutes remain in the game. Shayna Sarelson sweeps off that pivot, number 810, Woodward. Power Pout trying to push on the seams of that tripod as Arch Rival begins to bridge. Fourth blocker joins them. Sarelson comes in with a chest sweep from the out to the in, trying to help Power Pout out. Trying to just isolate one at a time and not being in her way. She's escorting her through, but Arch Rival doing a fantastic job of just getting right back in front of her. The defense in this jam is unmatched.
really this whole game, both teams have played really top-notch defense. I mean, and it shows on the scoreboard. Even though Victoria has a significant lead, it's actually a pretty low-scoring game.
And as we discussed earlier, Arch lost to Angel yesterday by a cool 100 points, so maybe Victoria is going to be a little nervous about playing Angel this weekend, huh?
I'll tell you what, that's going to be a good game.
And that's going to happen right here on Track 1. Victorian Roller Derby coming right back out here at 8 o'clock tonight to take on Angel.
Yeah, that's really the other thing we didn't think about is the fact that Victoria is going to have to play 2 games today.
Right,
but that's top-notch opponents.
This is just playoff and championship prep for them. You couldn't ask for a more competitive, better schedule. 1 game on Friday, 2 on Saturday. It's brilliant. I'm really happy that they decided to come to this tournament, the Big O. It's the best. Breaking free is Bolt Action, his lead jammer, with 15 seconds left in this jam.
Yeah, of course, it took 1:45 to get there, but hey.
See if she can grab a couple points. Victoria up at the front of the pack, hits Sarelson's back. Sweep from the inside to the out by Arch, and that's the natural conclusion of the jam, and she doesn't get the points, Hammer.
That was brutal. What a great jam, though. The crowd is loving it.
Oh, painful, but in a good way, I think. Score 71-166. We have 6.5 minutes remaining in this game, and a timeout wisely being called by arch rival. Coming up later today on the Big O Afterglow show with Justice Feelgood Marshall and myself, we're going to be interviewing some members of the Crime City Roller Girls around 5 o'clock. They're going to be hosting playoffs this year in Malmo, so we want to hear from them. We'll be hearing from Wilhelm and S.H. Long of the Denver Roller Derby at 7:30-ish. This evening, following the Angel City game, we'll be talking with Trample and Chambers/Power Pout. So stay tuned for those always personal, unique interviews that we like to do.
So it looks like when this timeout comes to an end, it's going to be Christy Demons out there for Victoria against Bricktator for our tribal. Getting down to the waning moments of the second half. Just over 6.5 to go here in the second half.
A little takeout there. They get I don't know, were they leg wrestling? Save it for the after party, guys.
A little WWE action there.
It's Bricktator has a go at it with Bianca. Beautiful teamwork. You can see Bianca stretching her arms out but trying to maintain her center of gravity there. Bone Shaker doing a fantastic job holding that outside half. And, of course, Biceptual. Oh, wow.
Oh, and then Kayla Woodward right at the end. Wow.
Christy Demons tried to hold on, but the third blocker for Arch finally got her out with a hip check. Lead jammer finally going to Christy Demons. Christy Demons, 24 points so far. And she's going to pick up, low block being assessed here on arch rival pivot. That's Woodward. Woodward, I believe that's her 4th penalty, but not a whole lot of time left, so she just needs to go do her thing. Christy Demons up against that back wall, gets some assistance there from Bone Shaker. Low block, very aggressively called by a referee, but I don't see anyone leaving. There we go, and arch rival skater peels off. And that's Salty going for a low block. And that gets called off by Christy Demons. That is what the bench wanted. High fives all around there. That was a really grinding jam.
I actually think that call-off was just a hair late, as they wanted 2 blockers in the box. But now we see Shimmy Hoffa joining Salty in the penalty box for our rival. So I didn't see what happened there at the end of that jam, but Shimmy Hoffa now sitting in the penalty box as well. So Victoria up 2 blockers, 4-on-2 pack advantage, and it's going to be Annie Swanson against. That's Power Pout for Victoria. No, sorry, that's not
Ivy
Knive, not Power Pout.
Ivy Knive picking up lead jammer again. Improves their lead percentage to 57%. Goes up on a match with the 10:57 Shira Powers and shakes her off. 5 points.
And we're seeing again a situation where Arch Rival, a couple blockers down, and they're just getting eaten alive by Victoria.
Reinforcements on the way.
Yep.
One of them trying to catch her at the front. Salty gives her a little shoulder check. Didn't know that she had actually clipped her. And Victoria kind of pulled ahead by just over that 100-point mark now. Harmony has the star off, shakes up the inside line near turn 3. And that gets called off, icing the Arch Rival pivot in that box.
So Bolt action now going to take the line for Arch Rival. Now we see Power Pout out there.
Arch Rival coach speaking with an outside pack ref here. Under 3 minutes remain in this game. Power Pout up the inside line, moving to the middle. She's been assessed lead jammer, but she's got one more to beat. Jamheiser-Busch doing everything she can to stretch her body to bridge more, but not effective. Cloak and Dragger was the last line of defense on that, and wow, beautiful footwork there by Power Pout. Saw that her back foot was about to go out of bounds and just picked that bad boy up like it was ain't no thing. Cloak and Dragger bridging out along with Woodward and Smarty McFly. They are all the way extended out, and eventually Jamheiser-Busch has to let her go. 5 points there. Woodward still holding on. She's now, or still holding on to the star. I was right the first time.
Yeah.
Victoria gets stretched out there. Bone Shaker, first bridge.
Finally has to let her go. So Kayla Woodward has completed initial pass.
A little casual on that transition to offense there. I bet they just knew it was going to get called off.
Yep.
But 2 points there. I think a little more hustle. They could have found 2 more. But they're in a comfortable lead. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, just under a minute and a half to go here. It's going to be Giles on the line for Victoria against, I believe, it's Harmony Killebrews out there for our Tribal.
I can't tell based on the scoreboard positioning if Arch Rival has another timeout, but they do have an official review. Lead jammer quickly going to Giles. Harmony Killebrews still wearing the star, moving on the outside. Biceptual right on top of her. Moves to the inside, engages that tripod again. Biceptual again holding that outside line, and here comes the hat from Harmony Killebrews. She rarely hands it off, but she takes it off a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can look, but you can't touch.
That's right. Our Tribal doing a really good job right now against Giles, really slowing down.
Giles just rolled her eyes. That's awesome. Oh, Salty takes her out. Beautiful recycle, but she is all alone. Where's her wall?
Yeah, Giles is now looking at the clock. I think she's just going to run this one out.
7 seconds of gameplay. Everyone's arms are up, and she's gonna call it off. 5 more points on the board. No more points for Arch Rival. I'm not saying that my prediction of this game was accurate, but I'm saying that it was perfect. Anyway, so final score up on that board, 71 points for Arch Rival and 201 points for Victorian Roller Derby. who need to rest up as they will be playing again right here on track 1 on this live feed. Victorian Roller Derby versus Angel City tonight, 8 o'clock. We'll see what they can bring as using triangulation. It's going to be a fantastic game. So congratulations to Arch on a great game. Congratulations to Victoria on a victory. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ophelia Mullins.
And I'm Star Spangled Hammer. Signing off.